Let's be honest, Man of Steel was never a bad movie. It looked amazing, it had a solid cast. It even dared to take Superman in a bold new direction. Despite its strengths, Man of Steel always felt slightly out of step with what Superman represents, whether it was the tone, the storytelling choices, or its interpretation of the character. Now, James Gunn has delivered Superman, a fresh take that isn't trying to be edgy or mythic or controversial. It just gets the character. This is the Superman that wears the cape without needing to apologize for it. And today, we're breaking down why this Superman doesn't just improve on Man of Steel, it surpasses it in almost every way.
I swear that until my dream of a world where dignity, honor, and justice are the reality we all share, I'll never stop fighting. Ever.
At the heart of any Superman story is one question. Is he one of us, or something else entirely? Zack Snyder's approach in Man of Steel puts Clark's alien origin front and center. The film is more concerned with his godlike status and Kryptonian legacy than with the man behind the cape, resulting in a version of Superman who feels emotionally detached and symbolically distant. Gunn's Superman flips that script. This Clark Kent isn't hiding from humanity. He's part of it. Raised in Smallville, shaped by two ordinary parents, he sees Earth not as a planet to protect from above, but as home. That small but vital distinction makes a world of difference. Throughout the film, we see Superman actively engaged with people, not hovering above them like a god, but alongside them, whether he's shielding civilians during a kaiju attack or quietly checking on a street vendor in Metropolis. This Superman has empathy baked into every frame. His humanity isn't something he struggles to accept. It's the foundation of who he is. Much like how Gunn gave Guardians of the Galaxy emotional weight despite a talking raccoon and a tree, so instead of building Superman around Krypton, Gunn builds him around Kansas, where his heart truly belongs. Clark's small-town roots matter more than his Kryptonian DNA, just as Peter Quill's heart mattered more than his space heritage. Let's talk tone, because tone was Man of Steel's Achilles heel.
This man is not our enemy.
Zack Snyder's Man of Steel tried to be mythic, but it ended up feeling heavy, like Superman was dragging the weight of the world and the script at the same time. By contrast, Gunn's Superman embraces color, warmth, and dare I say it, joy. This is a world where Superman is allowed to smile, not in a cheesy way, but in a way that reminds us that heroism should inspire. The tone here isn't naive. It just refuses to believe that optimism has to be boring. It's not afraid of emotion either. There are moments of vulnerability, doubt, and real stakes, but they never drown in self-seriousness. Gunn strikes a tonal balance similar to what he managed in Guardians of the Galaxy. Moments of levity, heart, and spectacle, all coexisting in harmony. And frankly, after a decade of DC movies stuck in therapy, it's refreshing to see one just enjoy being a superhero story again. Gunn has always had a knack for finding heart in the bizarre. The Suicide Squad balanced ultraviolence with genuine character moments, and somehow made you care about a guy named Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man? What does he do, throw polka dots at people? He does.
In Superman, that same tonal magic is used to create a world that's weird but warm, heightened yet human. This might be controversial, but let's talk about Superman's father.
People are afraid of what they don't understand.
Rather than encouraging Clark to stand tall, Man of Steel's Jonathan Kent spends most of the film urging him to hide who he is. The result is a version of Superman shaped more by fear of exposure than belief in doing what's right. Compare that to this new version. Here, Jonathan Kent is a man of quiet conviction, not afraid of the world, but hopeful that Clark can rise above it. The film doesn't overuse him, but when he does appear, it matters. There's one key conversation between father and son, not about powers, but about people. It's the kind of scene that shows you why Clark chooses to protect a world that doesn't always understand him.
Podcat? I thought he was probably Pruitt, and I had never met Pruitt, but I knew him as an actor. I really liked him, and I wanted somebody who seemed like he could be a real Kansas farmer. And so I wrote that with Pruitt in mind, and then he auditioned, and he came in and he killed it.
Think of how Gunn wrote Yondu in Guardians, a flawed father figure who ends up delivering the most emotional scene in the entire MCU. Jonathan Kent here has that same weight. He's a quiet man, but his influence is seismic. One of Man of Steel's strangest decisions was holding off on showing Superman actually being Superman until nearly the third act. We spent more time watching Clark Kent wander aimlessly than doing anything heroic. Gunn's Superman wastes no time. The cape is on, the boots are flying, and from the very beginning, you're watching the world's most famous superhero actually doing his job, not just punching aliens, but rescuing civilians, de-escalating disasters, and offering hope, literally and metaphorically. One of the biggest surprises in Superman 2025 is how many other characters it juggles, and how well it does it. This film introduces Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and more. Yet it never turns into a cameo circus. Every supporting hero plays a purpose in the narrative. They aren't shoved in to tease sequels. They help us understand Clark better by showing how he fits into a larger, evolving world. Compare that to the DCEU's early attempts at universe building. Like DC was chasing Marvel's success without a clear plan. James Gunn, on the other hand, builds his universe from the inside out. It's organic. Even the city of Metropolis feels alive, colorful, chaotic, filled with bizarre threats, and somehow still believable. It's the kind of comic book world that wants to be explored, not just endured. Superman's relationship with Lois Lane is one of the most iconic in comic history, but you wouldn't know it from Man of Steel. There, the romance was rushed, underdeveloped, and driven more by plot convenience than emotional chemistry. Here, Lois is a fully realized character. She's sharp, driven, skeptical, and completely uninterested in playing second fiddle. She challenges Clark. She calls him out. She doesn't immediately fall for him, and that makes their eventual connection feel earned. It's not a love story stapled onto a superhero film. It's a relationship that shapes the way both characters grow. Gunn has always excelled at pairing opposites. Think Peter and Gamora, logic versus instinct. In Superman, he brings that same dynamic to Clark and Lois. Their friction feels authentic, and it's their emotional clash, not a kiss at sunset, that defines their relationship. Last but not least, Superman 2025 doesn't shy away from being a comic book movie, and that's a good thing. Man of Steel tried to ground everything. The suit, the mythology, even the logo needed a real-world explanation. It was Superman, but half embarrassed about it. Gunn's film dives headfirst into the weirdness. It's the kind of creative confidence we've seen in movies like The Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, where comic logic isn't a problem to solve. It's a playground to explore. Remember how Gunn embraced absurdity in The Suicide Squad? Starro, giant rats, exploding heads. It all somehow worked. In Superman, he doesn't hide the comic book DNA either. From giant monsters to pocket dimensions, this world isn't embarrassed to be bizarre. It thrives on it. In short, James Gunn's Superman isn't perfect, but it is the best Superman film in decades. It understands the character, respects the audience, and reminds us that sincerity still has a place in superhero cinema. Where Man of Steel gave a spectacle with a side of existential dread, Gunn's Superman gives us something else, hope. And for a character who wears that symbol on his chest, it's about time. Let me know what you thought of the movie in the comment. If you're still Team Snyder, I respect it, but let's at least agree on this. Superman smiling shouldn't be controversial. Like, subscribe, and as always, see you in the next one.
Eyes up here.